I'm live. I'm live. Here I am. What time is it? Oh my God, it's only 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Yay. Up. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am trying to get myself back on East Coast time since I will be returning home in a few days. And man, is it wacky. Time changes can throw you for a loop. Your human body doesn't really know what time it is. And so it thinks it's got its own kind of circadian rhythms. Hey, Louise. Hey, Kelly. Nice to see you. I was just saying how I'm trying to get up earlier. I'm doing some Herkle-Durkling. There we go. I love it that Louise has gotten really good at liking the live. Very cool. Good morning, Cheryl, as well. So I got up this morning. I woke up this morning. Actually, I got a text from some friends back on the East Coast. They didn't know that it was 3 a.m. And so I've been trying to get up just a little bit early, even just keeping awake so I can slowly shift my body's time clock so that when I go home on Tuesday and I start working on Wednesday, then I'm a little bit back there. But hey, Penny Myers, there we go. Nice to see you. It's been a while. And Star Queen, good morning, everybody. So good morning, folks. Today is Friday. Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Now, the Monday through Friday, 5-day work week, weekend thing, such a construct, but that's what we live in. Mama Koala, number 1, not to be confused with Mama Koala, number 3. Nice to see you too. So it is Friday. It is Friday. You have a Monday through Thursday to kind of look in the rear view mirror back on. You have a weekend to look ahead to or look forward to, hopefully. You also have, shameless plug here, no shame at all, declutter parties this weekend. I've got 2 of them scheduled, one on Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, the other one on Sunday, noon Eastern. Okay, so if you are looking ahead to this weekend and you've got like a declutter project you want to work on and you think it would help you to get some body doubling, some legitimate like professional help as you're doing it, some camaraderie, even just if it helps you to schedule it to show up, I highly encourage you to sign up for the declutter parties. They're wicked fun. They're wicked fun. I also started to schedule the declutter parties for May. The tickets won't go live until then. I will put you guys are the first to know. I will put the dates that I have decided on the secret page, as it were. So you guys will be the first to know. Everybody on the list will be the first to know, and then the tickets will go live. This is crazy. The tickets will go live May 1st, which is in less than a week. Isn't it crazy? Hey, Kelly Smith's got some good stuff done. I got my irrigation line and faucet fixed. Yay. Remember that was bugging you. And even put in a border for my garden yesterday. Louise is kicking butt and taking names. 4 chairs out the door for someone else to enjoy. Yay. My goodness. You might now, the neat thing is you have more space in your home. You have 4 chairs worth of space in your home. So it's going to be easier to move around in. It's going to be easier for you to decide where to sit. Isn't it funny? Sometimes it's almost like, what is that, musical chairs, when there's so many seats to sit on? It's like making sure you sit on every one. Good on you. I hope you left the chairs, so noticing, getting rid of, letting go of something that somebody else can enjoy. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Now, the funny thing is, I'll share this with you, is that I am a person who does enjoy when people let go of things that they don't want anymore, because that means I have the opportunity to get it into my life. I am not kidding you when I share with you that, again, you probably noticed from my, background here, that I am not in my normal home. I am in Palm Springs, California, one of my happy places. And a lot of people who live here like the same style that I do. A lot of them, will change up their houses or move or something like that. So I am literally, no lie, scheduling my next visit here for next year around the time that they have a mid-century modern vintage marketplace where tons of people come from all over to exchange the things that they have that they don't want in hopes of connecting with somebody who does. So I love when you release something that you don't want, it means that item has a better opportunity to go to somebody who would be so grooving to have it, so excited to have it. So yay. There we go. Gina Mead, good morning. Star Queen. See, I didn't know this, and I think this is great. Just found out we can donate new or gently used shoes to DSW and get credit towards your next purchase. Now, I knew about the donation. I did not know about the credit towards the next purchase. So thank you for sharing that. I believe what you have to do, and sometimes it's kind of like when I when I take a bag of donations to a place and I just leave it in their bin, and I'm not necessarily caring about getting a receipt and taking it off my taxes and whatnot. Getting somebody aware to give you the credit that you dropped it off. So very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Here's another fun thing I will share with you is you can declutter wherever you are. I have on more than one occasion, and this trip is not any different, brought items with me that I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep or not. So I brought, I think there were 3 t-shirts and a pair of slippers that I brought with me that I wasn't sure if I wanted to wear them. And I thought, well, you know what, if I'm on vacation, am I going to wear them or not? And I tried them on, each one on a separate day. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't doing it for me anymore. And that's okay. I put it in a bag. I am on vacation. And I literally was Googling, where can I donate used clothing? I found a place. I dropped off my little bag. And now, not only when I go home, I will have fewer items in my suitcase, but when I go home, I will not have that kind of limbo of these t-shirts that I thought I might wear. It actually, frankly, made it easier for me to donate them on vacation because a couple of them had like logos on them that either would be, I wouldn't want somebody at home to see that I donated it, but also that I thought some people would like the events that were on the t-shirt. Somebody out here in Palm Springs may dig what I donated. At least that's what made it easier for me to let go of it. So, yeah. So there is never a wrong time to declutter. Well, I mean, technically there is. It sounds very declaratory. But if you have the urge to let go of things, I remember being in Bangkok, Thailand, and I had brought some shoes that I had gotten. I'd gotten some sandals for when, I know this sounds like, but this is just my life. When I was going to Morocco, I bought a pair of sandals that I thought, oh, these will be great for Morocco. But then I didn't really wear them a lot there because at a certain point, it was kind of digging into my shoes, speaking of shoes and DSWs. And so I literally donated those shoes. I left them out on the street where there were some homeless people. And I was thinking, well, even if they don't fit the homeless people, maybe they can sell them for some money. So when you go on vacation, that could be a thing. Even if you're packing to go away on a trip, that can also be a time for you to notice the shoes that you immediately put in your suitcase and the ones where you're kind of iffy on it. Now, I brought, this is the first time in forever since I can remember that I brought an extra, I checked a bag, and it's because I'm here for almost 2 weeks. And I knew that I wasn't just being on vacation, but I was also going to be living here. So I brought more shoes than I normally would if I was just on vacation. And I'm trying to make an effort to wear each pair of shoes that I brought. Funny thing is that it's more of an effort. I could easily wear a fraction of the shoes, but it gave me some options. But enough about me and shoes. But I'm just saying, when the urge to say, I don't want that anymore strikes, take note of it. And the sooner you can donate it, the easier it is. Okay? So, what do you guys got going on? How can I help you? Now, for those of you who know me, you know that my name is Beth, that I'm a decluttering life coach, and that my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. For those of you who don't know me, My name is Beth. Um, I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now, I do this on these YouTube lives that are open to everybody, but YouTube is a bit of a wild west in the fact that it's hard to get people just kind of scrolling by. You know, it's almost like you have to know the store is in the shopping mall. You don't just like walk past it. Versus TikTok, and I may do a TikTok later today. I haven't decided. We'll see. Um, but I am really here to help you. I am here to make it easier for you to do the things you kind of want to do already, but you've put a roadblock up in front of your car, right? You know you want that over there, but you, as we all do, humans with brains, wacky people that we are, you may have put something in the way of your car, so it's making it difficult to drive forward. Maybe you pull it to the side of the road and you drive a mile, but then you put something up a mile away. So I am here to help you, basically kind of like AAA, like a friend in the car, help you notice those roadblocks. You don't know why you're moving forward. I can see something that maybe you can't. I can see what's in the road. I can say, hey, you know what I think it is? From my perspective here, that looks like that. I can help you move it to the side. I can't move it to the side for you. I can help you move it to the side, and then I can teach you how to move it to the side of the road, even when I'm not there, because they're not too heavy. Okay. There we go. There we go. Chunk by chunk, step by step, as the Backstreet Boys? No. Who are the guys? One of those boy bands would say step by step. New Kids on the Block, maybe. Therapy Gal Sue is saying good morning. Good morning. Taking 15-minute work break with you all. Notice a 15-minute break is a chunk of time. Decluttering skincare products, chunk by chunk. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, I could honestly probably declutter some of the makeup I brought with myself on vacation right now, because I'm noticing in different light that some of that lip stuff I bought is really too orangey. I got a lip liner that I thought was going to work, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. It looks like old lady lips. There we go. Now, Kelly Smith says, today I'm taking some time. Some time is still a chunk of time. Some. It's not as specific as 15 minutes, but I'm taking some time today to clean the shed and my outdoor lawn tools. Awesome. What are you going to take some time to do today? Please do not take all time. There's all and there's nothing. Some is on there. 15 minutes is on there, the spectrum between those two. What are you going to spend some time doing today? If you're bugged with clutter, I highly recommend spend some time today getting yourself less cluttered. I say this because what you look at affects how you feel. Where your things are affects how you feel in your house, because you get aggravated when you can't find something. And what you look at and where it's located really does have a quality of life, kind of issue. And here's the interesting thing too, not to get all lifey coachy, but I am one. I don't just play one on TV, is the idea that, kind of, as they say, how you do one thing is how you do many things. So if your house is cluttered, that may not just affect how your house looks. The way you clutter your home, maybe that affects your relationships. It could affect your health. It could affect your career. It could affect your hobbies. Your hobbies. Now that's a fun one. Let's talk about the fun stuff. The fun stuff, hobbies. How could decluttering improve your quality of time doing your hobbies? Things you like to do. Are you putting off your doing a hobby because you've got to clean up first? Do you want to do one of your crafts, but you can't find the tools? Do you want to do one of your crafts, but you don't even have a surface to do it on? Notice how your clutter can be jamming up your life. You want to drive towards, I want to do some declutter. I want to do some crafty stuff. I can't do it because I've got currently, because my My clutter's everywhere. Now, this is a great thing too about decluttering, is that it is one of those things that kind of like compound interest they talk about, that you do it. You set yourself up for success. Because Kelly said, today, I am taking some time to clean the shed and my outdoor lawn tools, and it will be easy today because last year I cleaned out the shed and organized everything. So notice that you investing time and energy in decluttering now pays off dividends. Now notice I was talking about compound interest and dividends as if I'm a stockbroker, but it is truly a good investment of your time because you invest in things that you want to reap the benefits of. If it's not an investment, the opposite of an investment is a sunk cost. It's an exchange of an item for a thing. It does not grow in value. It's kind of like going to Target or your store of choice and buying a flat screen TV. It's like buying a car. Now, cars are a little bit different, so we'll stick with TVs. You spend money on a TV, you get your TV. End of transaction. Sorry, I'm hearing a ringing in my ear, and I don't know if it was something outside. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that it was okay. I think it's inside my head. Think of an investment. I am not kidding you when I say decluttering is an investment in the best possible way. You will reap the rewards. You will get more from your decluttering. You will enjoy more time having spent some time decluttering, a finite amount of time decluttering, a short amount of time decluttering expands the amount of time you feel better in your home. And not just in the short term, but in the long term. Notice Kelly did something last year. This year, she's feeling good when she opens up the door to her shed. Says, this is so easy because last year I invested some time and it did this. Now, if you have avoided your clutter, dealing with your clutter, decluttering as it were, it may have piled up. You may have piles. Do you have piles? Anybody just pile things around everywhere? I grew up in a family of pilers. It's comical. It cracks me up. Yeah, I learned to do the same thing. I have kind of stopped it, but I also keep an eye on a pile. And if it gets more than that, I start to knock it right on down. So if you have, through habit, through distraction, through whatever, there's no blame here, just noticing. Have I let certain things pile up? If the answer is yes, what is something you have let pile up that you have avoided doing something about? You can put it in the comments. You can just put it in your heads. But what's one specific thing that you allow to pile up and don't deal with it for a while, even though you look at it and say, yeah, I got to do it. Yeah, I got to do it. Like right now I'm looking kind of, and I'm pretty good with the dishes here. But yeah, I have let some dishes pile up. I'm in somebody else's house too, so it's a little bit of a misnomer, but dishes can pile up. Laundry can pile up. Cardboard boxes. Ooh, that's a new one, Judy Dukes. Okay, and you're saying you're doing the face palm. Okay, so are they empty cardboard boxes that are all nice and constructed, or are they flattened down? Now, we just went through this in my basement. We might need it someday if we mail something. My husband actually, when we were packing away stuff in the basement, you remember back at home where the basement's getting worked on, I was the one who said, let's get rid of these boxes. And then if we need to ship something, we can always buy a box, because we got into the habit of saving multiple boxes, but we needed to move everything out of the basement. Now, he and I had a bit of a discussion about that. There we go. McDougs grew up in a pile family. Gina, paper, dishes, and clothes. Yes, in the garage, not flattened down. Okay, so notice this about whatever topic it is. You notice the header, you notice the category rather. Paper, dishes, clothes, cardboard boxes. Do not judge yourself, but put on your curiosity cap and say, okay, why do I have these boxes in the garage not broken down? Just the facts. Now, I know we had a bunch in the basement because we had the habit of getting a delivery, opening up the box, and throwing the box down the floor, down the steps to the basement, thinking we're going to, we might ship something. And my husband does sell some items I used to sell items, things like that. So, okay. So notice Kelly Smith is saying, I have a ton of boxes too, but also a ton of product to sell. I need to get on that project soon. Okay, so notice that you have the correlation between the boxes I have saved are going to go for the product that I have to sell. So what I would offer to you, Kelly Smith, is if that's the case, what you might want to do as far as taking inventory of your boxes is just take note to see, are the boxes that I've saved for that all appropriate for the size of product I'm going to sell? Because this is the thing that helped me be able to knock down a bunch of the boxes down the basement, is that for the most part, it was that they were too small for us to use to really pack up anything to bring upstairs. But also, if they were so small that if it was something that my husband wanted to sell, like a guitar pedal or something, that we could easily go and buy a box that was small. So Judy Dukes, are you selling things? Are you moving stuff? And again, this is not accusatory. This is just, curiosity. Why are your boxes in the garage? Now, boxes can be helpful during decluttering. Do not get me wrong. Having a container to sort categories into can be very helpful. But I will offer to everybody who's saving a box, notice the size can make a difference. Is it a box that you can easily carry, or is it something that's so big you would probably never use it for something else? Notice that you may have dishes piled up in the sink. Again, no judgment, but why are there dishes in the sink? Oh, at least for us, it's because I haven't washed them yet. Or there are clean dishes in the dishwasher, and I can't put the dirty ones in there until I put them away. So this is the skill I want to offer you, is looking at your life and looking at what you do from a distance, but with curiosity, not judgment, curiousness, saying, why are those clothes piled up? Why is that hamper full? Why are those clothes on the floor? Why is there a pile of clothes on my desk? Why is there a pile of clothes on my bureau? Why are there clothes all over the bed? Wherever they are. Just asking yourself the question, why? And then listening for the story. And I say story, but I don't mean that in a judgy way either. Who, what, when, where, and why tell you good stories. Why do I have it there? My clothing is there because. There we go. So Judy Duke says, boxes from Amazon. I won't use them. Okay, just put off breaking them down and taking them to recycle. So here's where I would love to introduce the whole idea of the I don't have time to do that now. I just got off of a one-on-one coaching session with a client who never realized how many times she used it, but I don't have time to do that now. I don't have time to do that now. So I will say this, Judy Dukes, you have allowed those boxes to pile up in your notice. You put off breaking them down. So this might be interesting. And this is where we don't just knock down the piles. If you don't change your habit, the piles are going to pile up again. What I started to do when I noticed that we weren't using the boxes to donate, to sell, like we weren't using them, we were in the habit of accumulating them down the basement, but they were just growing. We really weren't using them, is changing my habit of what I did when I emptied a box from Amazon. So Judy, I don't know, I probably have a box cutter, and who knows, this is probably from too, my my decades in retail, where we would empty out boxes, where we would, literally empty stuff out. I have a box cutter from pretty much every job I've ever had. Nothing wrong with that. But I will say, maybe, Judy, the next time you get an Amazon box, instead of keeping it fully constructed and putting it out in the garage, maybe one shift in that habit you have would be to knock down the box flat and then put it in the garage. Maybe you catch up right now and you go out and you've got time and you've got your box cutter. Everybody needs a box cutter. All of us nowadays, we work so much more. We get more boxes in than we ever do. Okay? I just offered to you to say, notice what you have that you don't like. Get curious about how it got there, because if you don't do that, you can't change the situation in the future to ensure that it doesn't happen again. But notice that you can change something. But you will not be in a position to change something if you do not pause and reflect how you got there. Now, you can spend all sorts of days going, and I don't know, and back in the day. Feel free to do that. To me, I like to move forward. So I notice how I got there, and I say, noted, what can I do different this time? And then I do something different moving forward. That's what coaching is all about. It's kind of meeting you where you are, getting curious about how you got here, but not wallowing in it. And then saying, okay, what can I do differently the next time? Gina, what could you do differently the next time a piece of paper came into your life? You knock down the piles, and I can help you do that. But what could I do differently next time? And notice I say, it's so funny when you learn about like interviewing people and stuff, and even interviewing yourself, learning to ask not the yes or no questions. Can I do that? No. Can I do that? Yes. But the who, what, when, where, and why, and what. What could I do differently? Yeah, Gina says immediately throw it out or file it. Or even, there's multiple layers of that. You could create a pile that is the things that I file, the file pile. I love when things rhyme. And you could say to yourself, okay, yeah, I will immediately throw out anything or recycle anything that's junk mail. And then the stuff that I need to file, I'll put over on the desk. And I'll file it kind of, when I get a few things. The file pile, right. And then noticing that you want to have your desk cleaned by a certain time. Now, I say this because if you get to, there's always going to be some nuance to this. This is why it's not a science. This is not what, like you can write code for a machine, for a computer to do something all the time. If this, then that. Humans, we're a little bit different. And if we make a process that is too complicated, we can easily abandon it. Okay, so your desk is your kitchen table. Okay, I'm living at somebody's kitchen table right now, so I know that feeling. Where is your file? Where do you file things? Do you have a desk? Do you have a filing cabinet? It's funny, I've got a very cool plastic mid-century modern one right here. Doesn't have any files in it. And maybe your file pile is just, a basket. I offer to you to try to keep your processes as simple as possible to get the result you want. It's almost like starting with a recipe and experimenting with the ingredients and the steps to say, how simple can I make it and still get the taste I want? Because if you overly complicate things, it's kind of like, have you ever filled out a form online where it looks like you just put in your email address, like the form that I have on my thing if you want to sign up for the mailing list? It's just like you put in your email address and then you put in a code to promise you're not a robot, and then you hit submit. But have you ever done those ones where it's like you put in one thing and then it gives you to another page and suddenly you're filling out all these things? Every step you put in a process gives somebody the opportunity to abandon the process entirely. Have you ever done that, where the process online to buy something or to sign up for the freaking Avis rental car thing is like, give us the name of your firstborn and who, all this stuff. And you're like, oh, F this. This is too complicated, right? Do not overcomplicate things. If there's one thing I can do to help you right now, is to help you keep it simple, because I have training in this, and I also like a clean, efficient, elegant system that gets you the results you want, but does not require any additional effort on your part. Why use 14 steps when 7 steps will do? Okay. So I mentioned this to you to say, examine where you have abandoned your existing process. Is it too difficult? Is it too much of a pain? Is it hard for you to get to your file folders? If you go to file something, are your files a hot mess, a hot file? Why do you not file something? And again, none of this comes from judgment, so do not judge yourself. It's so funny when I see the face palm. No, I want to see the light bulb moment. I would much rather, is there a light bulb? Can somebody find? That would be so much more fun. Like the little emoji. Find and see if there's one that's kind of like the, aha, I get this. Like, yes. And say, you know what? Oh, you know what? You're right. I put those out there because that's what I've done. I never really noticed it before, but I don't like it when it starts to pile up, so I'm going to do something about it. Okay? Don't judge yourself. And don't judge other people either. Easier said than done, huh? So notice where how do I want to say this? Your habits, your routines, your skill set, what you do and how you do it has resulted in all that surrounds you. Now, I don't know what surrounds you, but I bet you've got some kick-ass good stuff in your life. And I bet you have some things you might want to be changing a bit. I offer this to you because if what you've done isn't giving you what you want, get a consultant into it. Have somebody observe what you do, and they can point out the inefficiencies. They can see the point of failure in your process. They can see why it is so much more difficult next year for you to be doing your taxes. Okay, so speaking of taxes, I know we kind of say, oh, I don't want to think about it till next year. How have you set up your paperwork now? Your 2025 paperwork, so that doing your taxes, and I use it in air quotes because I say doing my taxes, but I get the paperwork and I send it to somebody else to get it done. Have you set your taxes paperwork up for 2025 up so it'll be easy at the beginning of 2026 to do it? Okay. So Louise has got recipes. Now I love this now because Louise loves to cook. I love that about you. So what I would do with the recipes, this I think would be fun, is categorizing. You probably have your tried and true recipes that people love. So those are kind of like your classic, like the family cookbook. Like if people wanted to know how to make Nana's ziti or, fish chowder, right? Want to make the clam chowder or, baked haddock, right? You get your scrod, right? You got your baked scrod with the Ritz crackers on the top. You've got your tried and true recipes, but I bet you may have another category of recipes of, ooh, that looks good. I might want to make that someday. So those are two different categories underneath recipes. You can do two different things about it, right? You can have like the family cookbook that you refer to. We have one. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times that my husband's and I, it's literally like how to boil an egg really well. It's comical. We crack each other up. But I also have my recipes of things that I might want to eat someday. And I, keep them in a separate thing. I also, frankly, have another recipe box that are recipes that I will probably never, ever make, but they're not recipes. I mean, they're recipes, but they're sentimental items. They are sentimental recipes from my husband's mom and dad who used to cook a wicked lot. Now, we don't know if we're going to make a lot of these things that they did, but it gives him a good feeling to kind of scroll through them. Okay. So notice the categories. And notice, I would offer, just because Louise is mentioning recipes, if I have recipes that I have saved and I have not yet made them, I can make a plan. Maybe what I do is I make a new recipe every week. Yeah, and how to spread the butter on the toast really well. Oh, yeah, you know it. um, Getting curious about the recipes I've saved. Now, I saved a ton of recipes here on, or I say here, but on TikTok, I saved a bunch of stuff that I'm like, oh, that's good. But you know what I know about myself? And I'll own this. I will save a recipe. I like to eat, but I'm not so much into cooking. So I would send it to my husband to be like, you should make that for us. Right? So I know this about myself. But you know what I learn about myself is I learn about the flavors, the things that I think look tasty and the things that I don't think look tasty. So you learn about yourself by what you have around you and how you kind of take care of it, where you put it. I hope this helps. I do. I think the takeaway for me would be to get out of judgment and into curiosity. And then notice what you've saved and if it still makes sense for you to save it. Like, for example, I know that there was a time in my life where I would go through almost like a phase where I really liked a certain flavor. And then I was kind of done with it. God, I remember back in the 90s, what was it? Broccoli chicken Alfredo, tortellini Alfredo. Does that not sound like a 90s recipe? Getting it at this restaurant in Cambridge, Massachusetts called Ray's. God, I loved that. Then my body changed. And pretty much anytime I had something creamy or extra cheesy, instead of it tasted good, but as soon as it hit my gut, it was a different story. So now I see that kind of thing and I'm like, ooh, I'm afraid that would make me get a rumbly tumbly, as I like to say. So the things I liked back then are not necessarily the things I like now. And so that's okay. I might be able to go through my recipes and weed out the ones that I'm like, yeah, you know what? It seemed like a good idea at the time, but I'm kind of done with my pickle phase. I'm kind of done with my, chili crisp phase. Notice what you have collected. And then again, out of judgment and into curiosity, saying, okay, I saved this from the past, but today, Friday, April 25th, 11:41 a.m. Eastern Time, and 8:41 Pacific Time, do I still want to eat that? Do I still want to take the time and effort to make that, to eat it? Now, when it's just me, I'll be honest with you, I've probably lost weight on this trip, which seems weird, but it's like because when I'm left to my own devices, I will graze, I will snack until I'm not hungry. My husband is much more of a let's make a meal, let's eat a meal type of thing. But I'm looking around going like, meh, I don't know. I guess I'll make a piece of toast and I'll be fine. Unless there's something that I'm really like, ooh, I want to eat that. But so what you eat depends. So I am more likely to make a recipe if I'm going to share it with somebody than to cook something that's overly complicated for myself. Okay? So getting curious about what you've saved in the past, whether it is files or Amazon boxes or recipes or clothing. Saying, this is what I have. How did it get here? Do I still want it right now? Here's a way of phrasing that has been helpful to some people. Could I live without this? I don't want, what is it? How am I supposed to live without you? If you say, no, I couldn't live without it, or yes, I really want this thing, then notice that. Just because you ask yourself a question, just because you are starting the idea of decluttering, does not mean that the end result is you getting rid of even one stitch of anything. What decluttering does is it gives you the opportunity to see what you have, to take inventory, to take stock of all the things that comprise your life. And then based on those categories and quantities and qualities, then saying, do I still want that? Do I still want that? And the answer can be yes. And the answer can be no. And usually we meet when the answer is, I don't know. So we tease that out. Okay? We tease that out. Now, I will say this from the perspective of somebody who has been practicing and living and inventing and trial and erroring a lot of what I offer to you. Man, life is so much easier on so many levels when I'm decluttered. Let me count the ways. My health. I am taking better care of my health because instead of pushing off my doctor's appointments and saying, oh, I don't have time, I'll do it later, or telling myself that story of, oh, it takes forever to get an appointment, I make the appointment, even if it's 6 months in advance, because then at least I know it's on the calendar. My mental health feels better when I'm decluttered because I know where shit is. I know where the scissors are. If somebody said, hey, we don't have that document to prove something on the taxes, I know where to go get it. I know where my, Palm Springs sweatshirt is. So I get peace of mind knowing where stuff is. Also, when I go to use the scissors, that I don't have 14 pairs of crappy scissors. I have a couple of pairs of really good ones. So I feel good knowing that the stuff I'm going to have. Yeah. So Star Queen says, I hope I'm not alone here, but I've forgotten what's in many of my drawers. See? See what I mean? Not knowing what you have. You have more than you think you do. You could go on a treasure hunt. Star Queen, I don't know where you are right now, but you could seriously just open up a drawer and get curious and refresh your memory to see what you have. And then you will have a better idea of what is in that drawer. And then you can ask yourself, okay, now that I see what I have, and this is why stored clutter, stored in a drawer, you need to spread it out to sort it before you store it. So getting curious, not judging yourself. Oh my God, I have no idea what's in that drawer. Well, freaking find out. Open the drawer. Notice what's in the drawer. You can shut the drawer, or you can put like items together. But even if you open it with curiosity, you can see what you have so you know more the next time what you have. Realizing the abundance that you have. Notice that we forget the things. People say, like, if I put it away, I forget it. Yeah, sometimes you forget all the good stuff you have. And you think you don't have enough, so you keep on buying more. How many of us here have bought replacement items because we couldn't find the ones in our home? Yeah, I mean, out of sight, out of mind tactic works until you go to look for something and you don't know where the hell it is and you're scrambling to find where's my seam ripper or things like that. I mean, what I like, frankly, here's what I like, is out of sight, but in mind. That I know, I use my X-ray specs. I know I could walk you right now. I am thousands of miles away from my own kitchen, yet I could walk you through what is in every cupboard, in every shelf on every cupboard, in every drawer. If you were at my house saying, hey, Beth, I'm taking care of your house while you're gone, but I need the screwdriver, I could tell you exactly where to get it. So knowing where shit is can give you peace of mind. That you don't need to freak out. I don't know where it is. You're like, I got it. I know where it is. All right. You know what? If you want that, go to that drawer in that desk. Okay. Slide open that closet. See that, tub on the top shelf right there. Take that down. So out of sight, out of mind is one of those phrases that exists in the world. And there is some truth to it. But also, don't let that don't let that make your life be worse. Yeah. Okay. I think that's the issue with the boxes. Where's that box cutter today? Right. Okay. So I offer to you. Yeah. I offer to you, Judy Dukes. Even if you can't find, you could spend 5 minutes, and this is where you can chunk things down. If I don't know where my box cutter is, notice that is it. Ooh, in Judy's process, she goes and she's like, okay, so I'm going to, shit, I don't know where my box cutter is. Oh, well, I'll put these out here and I'll deal with it later. Judy, just for if you want to play along at home, the home game of the, the home version of the game, I would offer to you, set your timer for 5 minutes on your phone and take the time now to go find where your box cutter might be. After 5 minutes, if you haven't found it when the alarm goes off, that's fine. Use a steak knife. Use something else. Use a pen. We've all done it. Use a fingernail. Use a fingernail file. But why not stop right now and say, if I don't know where that thing is, let me go find it now. Okay, Judy's playing along at home. I love it. I can't wait to see what happens. Because hopefully, this is what I'm hoping. Scissors, right. Duh, I didn't even think about that, Gina. You're totally right. Totally you could use scissors. But notice a box cutter. Use the right tool is going to make something easier. Sure, you can, kind of do it with some other things, but finding the right tool for the job, knowing exactly where it is, that blade is sharp, that you use it, and then it goes back to where a home it goes to, so you know where it is the next time, that you even have it possibly stored in an area that is easy to get to regarding the frequency with which you get boxes from Amazon. Now, this is crazy. Is it really 11:49? All right, well, we'll stay on until Judy Dukes. We'll still have time. We'll still have time. Notice your own. What if you were a consultant? I used to have to do this at work, and I'm an observant person. I am totally absorbing and observing all the time. I get curious and I used to have to observe people's processes and look for ways to make it more efficient. Now, I am here to use this skill to help you. So everybody here who has stopped a task, if a task is not completed, notice where along the production line it has stopped, and that means there's like a break in your system. There's something wrong in your thing from getting it done right then. So if you've got stuff where it isn't supposed to be, when you walk yourself through your process, what story stopped you from completing that action? Okay. Garden shears, yep, you could use garden shears too, but let's hope that she finds a box cutter, So there are many, ways that you could do those things. But notice, for example, my clothing is piled up on top of my bureau instead of in the drawers because my paperwork is scattered all over the dining room table as opposed to being neatly in a box underneath the table because, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and here's a good one too. Lori is saying when you go and look at your stuff, you can find stuff from your older life and it's easier to throw out. So notice in your processes, and you have processes everywhere. Yay, Judy Dukes found one. Okay, notice I didn't take the timer. That wasn't even 5 minutes. So Judy, this is what I would offer. Now you know where it is. Now, this is where everybody, make a conscious plan to make a home for the things that you know you're going to be looking for. A pen, a box cutter, making a home, even if it's not in sight, in mind, out of sight, out of mind. No, you can make a home for something in a door, behind a door, or in a drawer, and say, this, my dears, is where the box cutter lives. And then you practice. You practice using it. Okay. And you practice using it. And then, Judy, I highly recommend after you break down your boxes with the box cutter, put the box cutter down. And even you can say out loud to yourself, this is where the box cutter lives. And then you can tell somebody else where it lives so that you start to say, this is like the garage. This is where its home is. This is where it lives. Okay. I love that you found it. Notice what you did. Now suddenly you don't have that roadblock anymore. The roadblock thought of, shit, I don't know where my box cutter is. Now you know where it is. Now you could cut down some boxes. Yay! Now Penny Myers says, my think my laundry is on top of my bureau because all my laundry is clean and I have too many t-shirts. Notice that concept of too many. Yeah. Not necessarily that you have too many. Too many is an arbitrary, that's not like a number, but it sounds to me as if you have too many clean t-shirts to easily fit into the drawers of your bureau, right? So the quantity of content, the quantity of clothes exceeds the capacity of that drawer. Now, here's an interesting thing, though, that I find so fascinating about realizing about the laundry process. Okay, so Penny Myers, I want to share this with you. You have clean clothing on top of your bureau because it came from the dryer. Before the dryer, it came from the washer. Before it came from the washing machine, it came from either the floor or your hamper. Before the hamper or the floor, it was on your body. So your clothing that's in the laundry is the stuff that currently fits the season of where you live and the season of your body, what feels comfortable. So this is where I would get curious about not the stuff that's on top, because that stuff it's past the wear test. I would get curious about what is taking up space in your drawer, the t-shirts that you haven't worn. Okay? And we all have them. I would get curious about them. And I would say, notice the ones you haven't worn. Before you start to put any away, just pull out the ones you haven't worn yet and do a really quick surface level. Are there any ones you can immediately go past? Okay, immediately ones that you could just ease on down the road. Okay, there we go. What are some other ones that you maybe want to keep, but they are not for wearing? They're kept for sentimental reasons. Even if they don't fit, you kind of want them because of the cover. Well, those ones don't necessarily need to have their home in your bureau where you're trying to fit the clothing that you actually wear. So notice that there are different places you can put your things, but don't just move things from point A to point B without always asking yourself, what is this? Could I live without it or not? And if I can live with it, if I want to keep it, where does it go? If I don't want to keep it, where does it go? Now, notice Mama Koala says random things. Is it really so random? Thrown down in the dump zone on the floor. So notice you have a zone where you are in the habit of dumping things in front of your dresser. They may be random, but what are 3 specific categories in that dump zone? When you chunk things down, random is one big pile, but as soon as you start to think in categories and chunks, that is a smaller section that you can then start working on. Okay? So think about that. And this is why I like to help you chunk things down and get specific. This is why we use adjectives and nouns and numbers and time to say, what are 3 categories? Like for me, in the other room there, the stuff that's kind of on the floor is going to be dirty laundry from last night, my shoes that I kind of kicked off, but I didn't place neatly in front of the closet, and probably like the pillow that I threw off of the floor because it was in my way. So I know I have those things on the floor. I can then go back and say, okay, I can tidy up. I can match my shoes. I can put my dirty clothes in the hamper bag that I bought. Yeah. And notice, too many, random. I have a random thing, get specific. Too many is a feeling. Wouldn't you agree? Too much, too many. Too many means above the comfort zone. It's like it doesn't feel good outside. It feels like I have too much. I have too many of these items. So that's when you get curious and you learn by subtract. You learned by addition inadvertently to go past your kind of set point with the amount that you feel good about. You have too many. So by subtraction, is what you find out what your just right point is. It's almost like a couple below feels like too little, a couple above still seems a little bit much. So finding your set point for a certain category or even subcategory, like t-shirts. Now, I pretty much like to have enough t-shirts that they fit easily in my drawers, they fit easily on my body, they look good, I like the message on them, they're in good shape, but not too many that they're stuffed. And also I practice now that it's t-shirt weather. Notice I said earlier, and oh my God, we're almost wrapping up today. Crazy how quickly time passes. I had some t-shirts that for years I've been like, oh, I'll wear that someday. Oh, I'll wear that someday. But there were certain things, the way it hit on my hips, the way it stretched across my bubs, the way it maybe used to fit on me and now it doesn't because I've gained some weight. Trying them on and being okay with letting them go. You know, it's funny. I meant to take pictures of the t-shirts, the 3 t-shirts that I donated. I totally forgot to. Oh, well. Oh, well. It's okay. And you know what's funny? Okay, I can picture all 3 of them right now in my head. That's fine. But now I go home and there will be 3 fewer t-shirts that are going to be in that limbo state. And then when I go home and I have access to all of my t-shirts and it becomes t-shirt weather, I'm going to play this game. So I offer this to you. If you have, before you can wear something that came from the laundry, you have to wear something that came from storage. You're not allowed to repeat any t-shirts that are currently clean from the most recent version of laundry. Put those to the side, put those in another room, put those in a bag, put those in a closet, and only work from what you have. So what I say is start using what you have. Don't just save it for someday. Wear that t-shirt tomorrow. So Louise says, yes, Beth, it's the new recipes that I might want to make one day. That is the problem. I have way too many for someday. Notice these vague words, random things, too many, someday. How about this? Instead of saying all the recipes that I want to make someday, technically you don't want to make them all on the same day. That would be too much work. I would say this, Louise, and maybe you can tune in next week because I will not be doing a TikTok live or decluttering, what do you call it, a YouTube live until Monday. We have 2 decluttering parties this weekend, Monday, and then probably not till Thursday or Friday. Okay. So what I would offer to you, Louise, is instead of being overwhelmed by all the things, chunk it down. Louise, how fun would this be? Going through your recipes that you've saved of things you haven't made yet, much like t-shirts you haven't worn yet this season. Picking one recipe from the I haven't made it yet. One recipe, that's a chunk, in a certain time frame, next week. Pick one recipe from your haven't made yet category that you want to make next week and make it. Start taking action. Start wearing the t-shirts that you said I'll wear it someday. Start making the recipes that you're saving for someday. Someday is today. Someday is next week. Someday could be something different every day if you wanted to. But one recipe in next week. Okay, so if your recently laundered ones are Easter themed, maybe you want to put them away in a bag or a box or a tote, and it's labeled Easter clothing. Last worn 2025, so that you know where it is when you go to look for it next Easter. Okay, so notice where we were talking about clothing, about using what you have, and how that same thing can apply to different areas of your home. Your pantry, using what you have before you go buy something else. Your cosmetics, using what you have before buying something else. Your toiletries or any of those things. Noticing the abundance that you have and using that as opposed to just going out and always using the same things over and over again. If you aren't using those things, then notice when you're not using them, and that you will. It's so funny. Somebody's walking outside. think they're just checking up on me. Notice that you can do something about it. It may have expired. If you don't like it, it may just hone you in on the stuff that you have but you aren't using. Okay? And then when you remove what you're not using, then you have more space for what you do use, or even just more space so you're not kind of stocking things up for someday. Okay? Now, I realize I went past a couple minutes there because I usually try to end at the top of the hour. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Again, my name is Beth, Destination Declutter, Decluttering Life Coach. If you're on the mailing list, you know how to buy your tickets for the decluttering parties. There's one tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. There's another one on Sunday at 12 noon Eastern. They go for about an hour and a half, okay? I will be doing a YouTube live on Monday, but Tuesday is a travel day, and Wednesday is a hella busy day. So next week I will be on infrequently. Okay. So I hope that when I'm not here, you also begin to implement, to use these tools that I offer free, happily and willingly. Now it's up to you. I've handed you the tools. I've handed you the box cutter and the recipe book and the different things to think about. Now it's up to you to put them in action, okay? Play with them and see how they work out for you, all right? I'm going to go take a walk because it's still pretty early here on the West Coast. So have a great weekend. I hope to see some of you at the declutter parties, and if not, maybe sometime next week, all right?